Hey guys, welcome to another B-Rocks eBay video. Today is July 19th, 2020. My name is Mark. I am the owner of the B-Rocks eBay store, and today is part 2 of 4 for the beginning eBay seller. Now, if you have not seen the first video where I suggest what you can find around your house to sell on eBay for no cost, to learn the ins and outs of, just selling, shipping, dealing with returns, just how to handle all these little things that may come up with selling, please go back and watch that video. I give 10 suggestions for things that you can look for that everybody has just laying around their home that you can get started with. I suggest that you start slow over the course of a month or two. Let that step take place, as well as the one that I'm about to talk about today, and just really just learn how things work, and basically just try to keep things stress-free and don't overwhelm yourself. So here's part 2. Things that you can find in thrift stores, garage sales, yard sales that will flip fairly quick and give you more money to build your business and just keep that snowball rolling and getting bigger. All right, so the first thing I want you to understand is name brands sell. They sell quick. In athletic gear, Under Armour, Nike, Adidas, you may be sitting there thinking, well, that's common sense. It's for some of you, yes, it is common sense, but for others that were like me, I always assumed that nobody wants other people's used athletic clothing. It was just a mindset that I used to be in. I personally didn't want people's used athletic clothing, but once I started buying and reselling and seeing that other people do it, it actually changed me and converted me to where now just about everything I wear, and especially athletic clothing because it's so overpriced, I buy used clothing for myself. And things like Under Armour, this is a cold gear mock turtleneck shirt. Even though it's hotter than crap outside right now, at least it is here in Kentucky, these things are selling. I've already moved a few. I just got this today. I will list it tomorrow. It'll probably be sold by Wednesday or Thursday. I do price for them to sell. Not that I don't make them ridiculously cheap, but I do pay attention to what others are selling them for, and I stay around that. Sometimes if I have a lot of inventory that I'm wanting to move, I will go a little bit cheaper, but regardless, as long as I'm being competitive with my price, I can make anywhere between $5 to $8 to $9 on it. If you are thinking that, well, that's just not worth it, I can tell you right now, you probably don't need to continue to watch my videos, because right now, if you truly are a beginner, your time isn't worth crap, okay? So you got to pay your dues to where you get to where you can worry about how much you make per hour. So if $5 to $9, let's take that right now. Let's also not try to go into a thrift store and just rush through and be in and out within an hour. I'm at a point right now where I've been doing this for 6 years. I do think in the terms of, okay, I want to get in this thrift store and out within an hour. Or if I stay longer, that means it's a honey hole. That means I'm finding a lot of stuff, and so it's taking me a little longer to get those things and to check out, which is perfectly fine. I'm okay with that. But you have to, in the beginning, be willing to just slow down, be able to look stuff up on your phone, and not really worry about the time. In the beginning, guys, I used to spend 2.5 hours in a thrift store, and I may come out with 10 items. If I were trying to figure out the hourly rate, it was awful. I'm sure. You're talking about after spending the time in there, getting home, listing, packing, shipping, and all that. I mean, $1.50, $2 an hour, and I'm being serious. So But I looked at it like I'm getting an education. I'm learning to get better as I go. And then as I get better, the money will get better. And guys, that's exactly what's happened. So, anyway, back at the topic at hand. Sorry, I had to get on a little soapbox there to make sure that you guys understand what it is and what to expect in the beginning. Under Armour, great. Nike t-shirts, especially Nike t-shirts with slogans. You know, I probably could have picked a better example, but busting it nightly. You know, just things like this. $12 to $15. Once again, making, you know, $5 or $6 on the shirt. You know, so Under Armour, Nike. Along the way, I just threw this in here today. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself a little bit, but this is what happens when you are digging through like the t-shirt bins. You do find little gems like this, which is a Patagonia Wall Rats t-shirt. The Wall Rats shirts and hats, things like that for Patagonia are kind of rare. $2 for this shirt. I sold this yesterday, and I need to get it shipped out tomorrow. But I sold this yesterday for $40. That's what happens when you're in the trenches, just digging along, looking for things to sell quickly. Guys, when I first started 6 years ago, I don't even think I knew what Patagonia was. That may sound crazy for some of you, but it took my wife pointing out the brand to me. It was an old t-shirt that I'd seen at a yard sale for like 50 cents, and she was like, hey, you know, you can flip that quick and you can do well with it. And I sold it for like 20 bucks. So you see that, it gets logged in your brain, especially when you get that kind of return on it. It just automatically, it just stays in your memory. And I've sold a lot of these Patagonia t-shirts over the years, and they've always been anywhere. I think the cheapest I've ever sold them for was like 15 bucks, all the way up to $40, $50, just like this one. So that's what happens. Nike athletic shirts. These are quick flips. You know, as long as you're keeping them competitively priced. I get people that say, well, you know, I picked up those Nike dry fit running shirts, and man, I just can't sell them. Like, well, what are you selling them for? Well, I mean, I'll sell them for like 20 bucks. I'm like, dude, I can go to the outlet, you know, just a little less than an hour away from my house here, and buy those new for that price. You know, you got to make sure you're picking them up for just a few dollars. You can't be going to a yard sale, for example, and buying them for $7 or $8, because that's what you will see in some yard sales, because you're going to sell these for $12, $13. I think I have this one listed for $14.99. That seems like a sweet spot for me. That works well, but I do take offers sometimes, just a couple dollars less than that, and I need to make sure. That's why you've got to make sure you know and keep track of what you've paid for each item, and you know that you are going to make some money on them. But these will sell quickly. Kids items, especially jerseys. Now jerseys work for adults and kids, but it's Peyton Manning Colts jersey, Reebok, screen printed. You know, doesn't seem like a whole lot, but these are kind of hot right now for Peyton Manning. And this is like a $15 to $20 jersey. Kids items in thrift stores cost $2 or less. I paid $2 for this, and like I said, I expect to sell it for 10 times what I paid for it, and after fees and everything, making probably $12, $13. But kids items, that they always are really cheap. Shoes, Under Armour shoes, paid $2 in thrift stores. These are usually $2 or less, and I sold these today, I think, for 14. So that's a good flip there. I have kid Air Jordans that I've picked up for $2. I have these listed, I think, for $24.99. Excuse me. I've only had them listed for like a week or so. But kids' shoes, especially this time of year when it's getting close to school, parents are like me. I mean, heck, you know, my son's 8 years old. Shoes, it's like within a week they're already worn down. So it's not uncommon now to find parents who will do some school shopping for their kids. If it's not school shopping, they're buying their kids used shoes so that they won't play in their school shoes. You know what I mean? They'll have their new Air Jordans, they'll have their new Under Armours, then they have the backups that their parents are like, hey, when you get home, boy, you better be putting on these shoes. You better be putting on your Under Armours right here. Don't get those Under Armours that I bought for you, but I paid $60 for in the store. All right? So, you know, that's you got to think. You got to think. What would be the reason people would buy these caps, especially baseball caps? Now that baseball's getting ready to start, I'm just pointing out baseball hats now, just because that's the sport that's a little hot in the sense that it's getting ready to start after all the COVID stuff, but NBA season getting ready to start. You know, you can find any NBA hats out there. Those are quick flips. Same goes for NFL as it's getting ready to restart. I mean, they sell relatively quick no matter what time of the year, but the main thing is, once again, these are items that you could pick up for $1 to $2, and you'll hear that theme from me a lot. You'll hear me say $2 or less. There are things that I will pay $4 or $5 for, but for the most part, guys, I would say 80% of the stuff that I buy is like $2 or less. Once again, polo shirts like this of professional sports teams. This is a Majestic Boston Red Sox adult polo shirt. These sell well for me. The Nike Dry Fit golf polo shirts, especially if there are sports team, if they are popular sports teams, you know, the Yankees, the Patriots, things like that. Those show up. You know, quick flips. I'm usually willing to pay up to $4 or so in thrift stores for the polos, because like the Boston Red Sox Nike polo and Majestic polos, I can sell for $16 to $20. And I call these things, like everything besides the Patagonia t-shirt that you've seen, I call them grind items. Items that, you know, $5 to $10, a little more than that. They allow me to keep grinding along, keep the cash flow going, and like I said, they're flipping quickly until I get the things like the Wall Rats Patagonia t-shirt. You know, you get the big scores. One last thing I want to show you, swim trunks. I sell them year round. I do. I get them really cheap. They're like, I bought these for $1, the Massimo board shorts, bright, colorful. Swim trunks and board shorts, those are definitely items that you need to be willing to look up on the spot. Obviously, you're going to buy the Nike, you're going to buy name brands like Massimo, some of the Ocean Pacific that have designs that are really, really cool and colorful. You know, those are going to sell okay. But there are so many odd brands of swim trunks and board shorts. And sometimes I wonder how they even show up in Kentucky. Like, some of these brands are like West Coast brands, where I can't even think of some of the names of the ones off the top of my head, but I'll look them up, and used, they'll sell for like $30 or $40, and I'm picking these up for anywhere from $1 to $3. So always have that phone willing to look up swim trunks, learn as much as you can. Like I said, I wish I had some examples of those brands, but the thing is, they come up so they're just so infrequent. That's why it's hard for me to remember them. But I've seen it enough to where I know to get that phone out and search. There are other things, but this is just these are the basic things that you could just go out right now and find in your local thrift stores, find in garage sales, find it in lots on Facebook Marketplace. You know, some of you guys are big on that, buying things on Facebook Marketplace. So let's recap real quick. You've been selling things around your house. Now you're armed with a little bit of knowledge. It's not everything, but you'll get out there, you'll get in the trenches, you'll learn. You've got some things now that's outside your home that you're buying and building up that snowball. And try not to spend any of that money. Try not to pull anything out yet. Let your cash build up. Let it get to where when you go out and your knowledge is expanded and you're buying more things, let it get to where you're spending $100 or more on a trip. You're going to multiple thrift stores. I went to 4 today. Okay, I went to 4 today, and I threw down some cash on some decent things. You know, I'm into right now buying. You know, I'm spending up on some electronics, spending $10 on DVD, VCR combos, and buying some office phones, things like that I'm having to spend more cash on. But I'm making, you know, some good cash off those bigger spends. We'll get into that as we move to step 3 and step 4. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, if you haven't watched the first one, please back up and watch part 1. But I hope this stuff is fun for you guys. I'm telling you, it's my passion. I enjoy it, and I want everyone out there to be able to do this. There is so much. There's just an abundance of stuff in this country. There's enough for everybody. Okay, that's why I don't mind sharing this knowledge. There's enough for everybody. Every store I went into today, I see the same faces. Us resellers, we know each other. We see each other. We don't necessarily talk to each other, but we'll speak to each other. But we know what we're doing. And even with multiple resellers I'm running into at each store, I'm still coming home with great stuff, because the stuff that works for me, the stuff that sells for me, other people may not feel like it works for them. Some of the things that some of the other resellers are buying, you know, I see their carts and I'm like, wow. And it may not be eBay that they're selling on, because sometimes that's the thing. Sometimes they're selling on Macari, and there's certain things they're picking up that work for them best on Macari. Poshmark, you know, I see some of the same women time and time again just staying in the women's clothing, which is something that I don't sell a whole lot of, but they're buying these dresses and certain types of shorts and flip-flops and things that I know nothing about, but they're killing it on Poshmark. The reason I know they're killing it is because they have been consistently been in there week after week for a couple of years. You know, so I know they're doing well, and I see their carts of stuff getting larger. That means that bankroll's getting bigger. So let yourself build up to it. If you have any questions, you can leave questions in the comments. If there is anything that you would like to see a video on, comment about any topic with reselling, and I'll try to add that in the future. But I can't wait to get to part 3 for the beginning eBay seller, because you guys are going to build off the quick flips, and then we're going to start adding some longer tail items. And what I mean by longer tail, things that are going to sit longer, but they're going to allow you to build your eBay store and basically start building your seller reputation and further increasing that bankroll. That is it. I hope you guys enjoy. Deuces. Be happy, be safe, and be rocking it out. See you guys.